From coiled to perfectly flat, understanding how metal straightening shapes precision, that's what we're tackling today, really getting into the nuts and bolts, the physics behind smooth press line operations. Before we dive deep, just a quick note, we're Press Room Equipment, PRE for short, based right here in Springfield, Missouri. Best way to reach us, give us a call at 417-864-3636, or you can always email sales@pressroomequipment.com.
Okay, so let's talk about that metal coil. When you get it, it's never perfectly flat, just isn't. Think about it, it gets rolled, slit, wound up tight. All those steps introduce little imperfections. And the big one, the one we constantly fight, is called coil set. It's that natural curve the metal has because it's been wound so tightly on the coil, like a memory.
Right, coil set, I get it.
hmm
And, some folks might think, oh, I'll just crank the tension on a line, pull it harder. Why doesn't that really work? Why is straightening the proper fix?
Well, you're basically just fighting a losing battle against the material's nature, trying to force it flat temporarily, ignoring the actual coil set. That leads to, well, poor quality parts, material not tracking right, and worst case, jams, machine damage, costly downtime. Nobody wants that. A straightener actually fixes the metal itself before it even gets to the tricky parts of your line. It deals with that built-in curve.
Okay, so it's not just bending it, it's doing it something more permanent. How does that actually work
Well,
with the rollers?
exactly. It's all about applying stress in a very controlled way. The metal strip, you see, it passes between these sets of rollers. Some rollers push down from the top, others push up from the bottom in an alternating pattern. This flexes the material back and forth. But here's the really critical part, the science bit. To truly get rid of that coil set permanently, you have to stress the metal about 20, maybe 30% past its normal elastic limit. You push it into what we call the plastic stage.
The plastic stage.
Yeah.
So you're not just bringing it back and forth, you're actually changing its internal structure, making the flatness stick.
That's precisely it. You're fundamentally changing the metal, overriding that memory it has of being coiled up. And that's what PRE focuses on. We design and build these high-quality straighteners specifically for coil steel material, and they're custom-built for your specific needs.
Okay, so PRE builds these. What kinds are there? I know we have a couple main types.
Right. Broadly speaking, two main categories. First, you've got your pull-through straighteners, sometimes called unpowered. These are simpler. They don't have motors driving the straightening rolls themselves.
So the feeder downstream does the work of pulling the material through. Who uses those typically?
Exactly. They're often a good fit for, say, lighter gauge materials, stuff that doesn't resist bending too much, or maybe where you're really tight on floor space. They rely entirely on the feeder pulling the strip. But, for tougher jobs, thicker materials, high-strength stuff, you need more control.
And that's where the powered straighteners come in. These sound like the heavy lifters.
They really are. Powered straighteners have driven rollers. They actively grip and push the material through the straightening process. This gives you much more consistent force and control, which is absolutely essential to properly stress that tougher material into its plastic stage. Much better results for demanding applications.
Gotcha. Now, it's important to be clear about what PRE does and maybe what we don't do in this area, right?
Yes, absolutely. PRE specializes in these straighteners. Our expertise is removing that coil set we've been talking about. Very effective for that. What we don't build here at PRE are levelers or leveling equipment. That's a different beast.
Okay, so straighteners for coil set, levelers for.
Levelers tackle more complex flatness issues, things beyond just the simple coil curve, like edge wave or center buckle. Different technology, different machine. Now, if you do need that kind of heavy-duty leveling, our parent company, Bradbury, they're the experts there. They build leveling equipment.
That's a really key distinction for planning a line. Good to know. So for PRE, the focus stays clear. We are and always will be your coil processing and handling OEM provider. We deliver solutions, specifically straighteners, matched exactly to your material type, its thickness, and the speed you need to run.
Right. And maybe the key takeaway for anyone listening is this. Start with your material. Before you even think about buying a machine, know your specs. What metal is it? How thick? How wide? And crucially, how fast does your line need to run? Get those details nailed down first. That ensures you get the right straightener for the job, one that will deliver that permanent flatness you need.
Excellent advice. That really is the foundation. Well, that wraps up our deep dive for today on the physics of metal straightening. Remember, Press Room Equipment, we're a proud member of the Bradbury Group, located right here in Springfield, Missouri. You can reach us by phone, 417-864-3636, or drop us an email anytime, sales@pressroomequipment.com. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.